this is J.Kustoms, and this is a video on the update for the Bronco project with the 6.0 Power Stroke swap. What was taking so long was the body at the body shop. The body guy had to do his thing, and then it got shipped to another guy to do the paint, and it turned out very good. The only problem was how long it took, but you know, just like anything, if you do good work, you're going to be busy. And it was one of those things where you just have to wait. And it was well worth the wait. It turned out very good. Here it is. The owner picked out a Ford Tuxedo Black. We had a few holdups with the body, like the hood. The hood that we had originally for the Bronco. It looked very nice. But then, you know, as you start sanding on it, we didn't want any Bondo, so we ended up having to search for a different hood. One of the fenders, I believe it was this one, one of the fenders had a couple dents in it. Well, we didn't want to shove Bondo in it to smooth it out, so we had to search for a fender. The other issue was the roof. You know, hail damage and everything else, you know, he was able to save it. And then the biggest issue was this box side. The problem was it got T-bone, and the bottom here was caved in. So when that got smashed in, it sent a ripple down the rest of the box side. He tried straightening it out, and we couldn't. He just couldn't get it where we were happy. So we ended up replacing the whole box side, and he did a very nice job because you cannot even tell it was even replaced. This is done by Ken's Classic Auto Body. He's the guy that did all the body work to this thing. We have all this taped off right now so you don't scratch nothing, but everything inside here, I mean, you can't tell at all that this was replaced. It looks far much better than the original side. Some of the other things he did, he flipped the body over on the rotisserie, and he did the whole underside. And that was with like an implement black, and he straightened everything, and there was some dents on the fender well he smoothed out and mudded up just to smooth everything. Everything turned out great. The other thing we did is there's a body seam here, and we deleted that out, both sides. And no, it's not going to crack. We've had a lot of people concerned about you can't just mud it over, it'll crack. Well, it's not mudded over. It was all cut out, and it was all welded solid. So this is solid with no body seam. It's a lot cleaner look. And the other thing we did was the fenders. They have a hole here and some marking lineup holes for an emblem. We deleted all that out. Just a much cleaner look. The other thing that we spent a lot of time on was the firewall. And that turned out very nice. He cleaned everything up from all the fab work that was done to this firewall to fit the Super Duty air box and controls and steering column, Hydro Boost, you know, all the stuff we had to do to this to make it work. Too bad it's going to get hidden. A lot of it is, but when everything's done right, that's all that matters. The paint work was done by Jason Bretzel and Scott Thacker from QPC, Quality Paint Coats. They actually got 6 gallons of clear coat on this bad boy. And they did a lot of wet sanding. They did a really nice job getting this thing painted and cleared. That paint really shows off the bodywork. The bodywork is extremely straight. We are very happy with how this turned out. Very, very nice work. So definitely hit them up if you need some work done. The owner of the Bronco, Blake Mitchner, and his wife Rachel, they drove up here and had a hand in the Bronco as well. He got this kill mat, sound deadening. He did all this. That turned out real nice. That should quiet down the road noise some. You got it on the ceiling and the doors. The only thing left to do is I'll do the firewall once I am done fitting the dash. And that's the other thing we decided to change. He wanted to go with the 08 and up 6.4 dash versus the original dash I fitted in there from the 06, the original donor truck. There wasn't a problem with the other dash. It fit in there nice. I got it to work. The doors shut, everything. It is slightly wider than the 08 dash. And with the dash being wider, it causes some issues with the door panels and the door. The doors did shut, like I said, but it was pretty close to the door, and we had to do some weird modifications to the door panels. And with the 08 dash not being as wide, we can just modify the original door panels like I fit in my OBS 6.7 swap. He liked the way that looked, and he likes the way the 08 dash looks better. So I said, if that's what you want, now's the time to do it versus when it's all done. So what he did is he found a dash, and then he drove up here and did some fitment and got it to work. This is the dash here. I got a lot of fab work and some time into this guy. The original 06 harness is inside here. I had to cut the whole harness apart, and we got a hold of swap helpers and used a lot of their product to help make this swap work. So the first thing we got was the vent helper. We used everything out of the vent helper except for the defrost helper. So we got the helper to hook up to the vents, but as far as the defrost, I already built a defrost vent out of steel. The reason why I had to make one of these out of steel is because we had to cut the original defrost vent out of the dash to shorten it up. So that means I had to take the whole original defrost venting out of the dash. Then I made this one out of metal with deflectors in it all the way across. Then when we cut the dash, we left enough room, just enough of a gap for airflow to go between the windshield and the top of the dash. The other kit we got from Swap Helpers is the column helper. This is the relay circuit board here that I wired in. So pretty much hacked the harness apart for the 6.0, hacked the 08 harness apart to get the column wire harness to tie in to the 06 harness with using this relay board. Also the cluster, we got a cluster helper to make the cluster work with the 6.0 harness. And the last thing we got is the headlight helper. So I have to install this and wire that in. I already have the dash fitted in there. It looks good, everything works out great. It's just very time consuming doing all the wiring. I also mounted the 6.0 fuse panel on the bottom of the dash. I had to cut this all out, and I welded in some main supports, so this thing actually snaps in and out of here yet. I can remove it, but it's coming together. Very time consuming. But it is going to look a lot nicer than the 06 dash. For sure. As far as the chassis, this thing's pretty much ready to go. I have the wire harness modified and ran through the chassis. The fuel tank is in. All the fuel lines are hooked up. The fast fuel system's mounted. I have aluminum brackets I made to support the lines and the wire harness all the way up through here. Got some heat shield on the wires. All new steel braided lines for the driven diesel system. Custom made all those to tie everything in. Did not want to use the original lines that came with it. It didn't look right or fit well with the modifications to the motor. Also got a new alternator, DC power. Everything's tying in very nicely. It's pretty much ready to go. Get that thing set on here and run a temporary exhaust, because this thing's gonna get shipped when it's all together and done out to Washington. A guy named Rob from RK Titanium. They mainly do work on Mitsubishi, BMWs, Subarus, Toyotas, Nissans, Porsche, you know, stuff like that. And he does some pretty good work there. So it'll be a full titanium exhaust on here when it's done. Here's some other parts that Rob sent that he did for the Bronco. This is his logo, RKTI. Very nice titanium work. Yeah, it's gonna turn out pretty nice once that's underneath the hood. Here's the tailgate. A little dirty. Also the rear bumper. I had this chromed. And I'll tell you right now, getting things dipped in chrome is not cheap. But well worth it. It doesn't even look like the same bumper. So today's project is I'm going to get this body disassembled, take the hood and fenders off, set them off to the side, lift the cab up, and I can get the cab fitted and get the wires pulled and hopefully have this thing wrapped up and together and on the road soon. So I got a lot of work to do here. Be well worth it when we're done.